In this tutorial for Team Yankee, I want to discuss rolling saves in assault and pushing into enemy positions. So let's go through our assault steps again. So we have you charge in, let's say it's you. You charge into contact, the opponent does defensive fire. If you survive, you roll your hits. Now we're going to go over rolling saves and pushing into enemy positions. All right, we're going to see what happens if you hit a target and they need to make a save in an assault. And it's really pretty simple if you know how saves work. So we got some American infantry out here, and they are being assaulted by the Soviets. And this one gets hit. Now, normally in shooting, they'd get a 3+ save, bulletproof cover, firepower, and all this. But in assaults, if they're hit, infantry is hit, they're destroyed. So if they hit twice, the Soviets hit twice, 2 of them be destroyed. No saves. So that's pretty simple. No saves for infantry in assaults if they are hit. What about unarmored tanks? If they get hit, so let's say these 2 get hit, normally they get a 5+ save when they're shot at. Otherwise, if they fail, they get destroyed. But just like infantry, unarmored tanks do not get a save. They are destroyed if they are hit. So that's pretty simple. Infantry, unarmored tanks, hit, destroyed. Now we're getting to the little more difficult. What if these Abrams were hit? What do we do then? This one goes pretty much back to normal shooting. They can just try to hit the top armor, and they have an anti-tank of 2. Every infantry, when they hit top armor on a tank in assault, have an anti-tank 2. Well, that doesn't help here. I mean, they're going to get 2 plus a d6. We talked about the armor saves, and I'm not going to go through it on this video. It's the same thing. Take the armor, roll a d6, and try to beat the anti-tank of the attacker. But they could have a chance to bail out something such as this fist with an top 1. So if this rolls a 1, and they make their firepower, it's bailed out. So there is a chance with some lightly armored vehicles. But when it comes to main battle tanks, such as these, the attack on the top armor is going to do nothing. So what else can those infantry do? Well, they could use any of their weapons against side armor. So we have a 14 and a 17. Now I've already gone over this about heat weapons. Make sure you look at notes. So if they use those against those Abrams, the Abrams actually have 16 armor because of their Chobram armor, which gives them 16 against heat weapons. So they would attack. They can't do anything with that one. This one has a chance to bail them out if they roll a 1. So they hit, and if these teams hit, they make a save. You know, I'm just going to see. Let's say they get hit by 1 of each. If they roll a 1, no, of course I wouldn't roll it. But if they fail, let's say this one rolls a 1, and this one rolls 3. So the 3, it's okay. Nothing happened to that tank. Unlike infantry and unarmored tanks, which are immediately removed, these actually do get a save. That one made it. But this is 16 plus 1 matches that. So now they get to do a 4+ firepower and roll the 1, so the tank's okay. If they rolled, there it is, 4, it would have been bailed out. So we need to put a bailed out marker on it. And that's pretty much it. If these tanks hit them, they're removed. Tanks can't go on tanks. Remember, aircraft are never involved. So that's pretty much it. Infantry, unarmored tanks, hit, destroyed. Tanks, you can attack the top armor against a 2, or they can use their weapon on the side. Now, we'll say this. There is stuff like this Dragon missile. It's like, woo, 18 against a T-72. That'd be 13 is their best, so they have a chance. but see this minimum range? Be careful again, make sure that if it's 8 inches or less, there's no way they can do this in an assault. So I've already talked about that, so do keep that in mind also, that they could use these, like this 12, because it's 0 to 12 inches. This one, 8. They're within 8, so it can't be used. So I'm just reminding you, do keep that in mind. So I'm going to take this back, and we're just going to go to infantry, because it's going to be the easiest way to explain what's happening here for the first part. Okay, so they attack, and this one gets destroyed. What this one can do, the attacking infantry that destroyed it can then immediately occupy that space that infantry was at. So if this was situation and this one destroyed that one and this one destroyed that one, both of them can move into where they were at. Even if there was terrain between them. So I've talked about that. There's terrain between them. They're attacking each other. These two get destroyed. They can go over, and they can go over. So pretty simple there. With tanks, it's a little bit different. So let me get some tanks here. So we got this. And let's say somehow they destroy this tank. And so it gets blown up. Well, you see it's not removed, so they do not occupy that space. They just stay where they're at. So infantry, and it would be the same if unarmored tank was destroyed. It stays on the table. They do not occupy that. So any tank destroyed stays on the table, cannot occupy it. If it's infantry that was destroyed, they can occupy it. So let's reverse this a little bit. And I'm going to take these back out. And what if it's some infantry, American infantry here, that's being attacked by some T-72s. And the T-72s kill this off, okay? So they can occupy that space, but they got to cross this wall. And so that's a bogging check. Well, they've already conducted a bogging check coming in to the assault to initiate, so they don't have to do it again. They could just cross it. And it'd be the same if they're in some woods. So let me do this real quick. So there's some woods here. And there's the infantry in there. And that's all I'm going to put in there. So they assaulted. They made their bogging checks. This one gets destroyed. This one can occupy its space now. Don't have to do another bogging check because they've already done it coming in. And that is how you roll saves in assault and how you push into enemy positions. Oh, about pushing in enemy positions, if it's impossible for you to get into it, you can't occupy it. Just keep that in mind also.